here in Washington, the 60-year anniversary of the Korean War armistice was commemorated by U.S. President Barack Obama at a ceremony at the Korean War Memorial. Nathan King was there and has this report.
Many American and Republic of Korea veterans now in their 80s and some in their 90s turned out here in Washington to remember a hard-fought war which divided the Korean peninsula and came to symbolize the stalemate of the Cold War. Byeon Baek was just 3 years old when she and her family fled the war-ravaged north for the south. She is here to remember and dream for the future.
Hopefully that we do have the peace forever and unification too also.
Division of the Korean peninsula occurred 60 years ago. Both sides sat down and signed an armistice which still has yet to yield a peace treaty. The conflict cost an estimated 1.2 million lives on both sides of the 38th parallel, and its effects reverberate across East Asia today. After paying tribute to the fallen, the US president pivoted to the present and reaffirmed Washington's military presence in Asia.
Today, as we end a decade of war and reorient our forces for the future, as we make hard choices at home, our allies and adversaries must know the United States of America will maintain the strongest military the world has ever known, bar none, always. That is what we do.
U.S. Defense Secretary Chuck Hagel also reminded veterans here that over 28,000 U.S. soldiers still man the demilitarized zone between the North and South. He also stressed what he called America's strengthening of economic, diplomatic, cultural and security ties with countries throughout Asia.
And joining me to talk more about this anniversary is CCTV's Nathan King. And Nathan, you know, much has been made out of the visit of the Chinese vice president to Pyongyang during this time. What came out of the visit?
Yeah, Korea Watch is saying, what's he doing there? You know, what's happening? Obviously a very high-profile occasion. And just some background, he's the highest actual official from China to visit since Kim Jong-un became leader of the DPRK. Also the highest-ranking Chinese official for 20 years as well. So there's lots been made of that in the international press. He's part of the Politburo, but not so high up that he's part of the Standing Committee. So for the international community, perhaps that's a signal that he's there to deliver a strong message to the DPRK over its nuclear ambitions. He did actually say that he's committed to the denuclearization of the Korean Peninsula. Now, what does that mean? In Diplo speak, that means we still have a policy that the DPRK should rid itself of nuclear weapons and stop, obviously, testing, as we saw earlier this year, and also for a resumption of the six-party talks. Now, remember, those were stalled. These are the six-party talks on all sorts of matters, not just the denuclearization, but also eventual reunification of the Korean Peninsula. They've been stalled since 2008, and they're largely Beijing-sponsored. And so there is a feeling to try and get those back on track. Now, everyone says they want to get back on track, but all have different terms. So we'll have to wait and see about that. Interesting, Li Wenchao's name, actually, if you rearrange the Chinese characters, actually means help Korea. It was a popularization during the time in which he was born in 1950, when the Chinese army was obviously involved in the war. Now, the big question is, what are the deliverables out of this visit? You know, you don't normally send a high-ranking official of that caliber to a country without some sort of negotiation or some sort of delivery. So we'll have to wait and see. But it's very interesting.
See if Kim Jong-un takes heed and actually takes the visit seriously. Thank you so much, Nathan King.